Once again, good morning, Senator. Great to have you in our midst this morning. And for everybody listening on social media this morning, feel free to interact with us on social media at 937 Rhythm FM. Pop in your questions because the Senator is going to be here for a limited time only.
We'll try and drag it out, but we can't really have him.
I mean, he's a really busy man.
Yeah, he is.
So let me start off with the title, Senator. You're in a few more months, that title will no longer rest before your name.
Right.
And
ex-senator.
You'll be ex-senator. How does that make you feel?
If it's okay, I've never done anything for too long in my entire life.
Okay.
I don't like being in any place for too long. That's just how I am, So it's fine. I'm happy to have served, do 4 years, and do something else in my career.
To be really honest, a lot of people want to know the real information behind you deciding not to take up a second term as senator. Could you share with us?
Well, that's simple. In Bayelsa East, where I'm from, no senator has ever done 2 terms. I mean, they believe that's what you I disagree with that. I think it's a mistake. They can't get development, progress. They can get seniority, they can get leadership, but in an area where you have 97% unemployment, politics is their way of life. It's a serious issue for them to seek public office and to have office. And so, since that's what they believe, I don't feel I should be the one to rock the boat and make it hard for somebody else who wants my job. So I bowed out and I said anybody else can run and take my job with pleasure.
And in that 4 years, what would you say has been the highest point of you serving your people?
Well, first of all, we're in opposition, so we've been agitating. We've been agitating about bad government, inflation, the budget that's the budget that is very high recurrent expenditure, no money for capital. We've been borrowing money for capital. We have a high debt situation in the country. The budget is terrible, and I think it's a very badly. If Nigeria was a country, they'd be bankrupt. I mean, Nigeria was a company. It was Coca-Cola or Tesla or Pepsi. They'd be out of business, or Procter and Gamble. And it's we're a very badly managed economy. Yeah, country. We're a very badly managed country, and if we continue like this, we'll be bankrupt for sure. We've been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and no project is completed. And this is the problem we have right now, and we cannot continue like this. So we've been fighting, and plus, I put the Brass Name Bay Road in the budget, which is 150 billion naira for it's a 30-kilometer road with 17 bridges, but it costs 150 billion.
150 billion.
Yes, because of the terrain. So development in Bayelsa is pure hell. It's very, 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 very difficult. And projects like that, shore protection, roads, bridges, very, very. And we're in opposition. For us to do that is tough, but we do the best we can, and hopefully my successor will continue and try to get funding for the rest of it.
I want to bring us to the 1st of October because this is the last day in the month of October, so I just want to wrap through the entire month. Buhari, in his Independence Day address, pledged to continue to work for Nigeria and Nigerians as a whole country. He says under his administration, the country, he believes, is on the right track, and he asked for support of stakeholders. You are also a stakeholder in the country, Nigeria. We are also lesser stakeholders, but I wanted to get your opinion on the president's comments on the 1st of October.
First of all, Nigeria is not on the right track. It's on the wrong track. Okay, you can't run you can't run an economy the way we are. We need a change of leadership. Atiku Abubakar, when he comes into office, is a well-tested fella who will change the outlook, how you see yourself. You see, you cannot run an economy with fear as your domestic policy. Fear cannot be a domestic policy. Fear of being arrested, fear of being intimidated, fear of being locked up cannot be a domestic policy. If you are Idi Amin, Uganda, or Syria, or Afghanistan, or countries like that, sure, Congo, yeah. Fear can be a domestic policy, but fear as a domestic policy guarantees that the economy cannot develop and grow. And this is what is happening in Nigeria. We cannot grow and develop with the kind of policies we have. You cannot devalue the currency to 3. Workers agitating to increase the minimum wage. But the easiest way is to reduce cost of living. Then people will not agitate. And to reduce cost of living, you need free trade. Free trade. Reduce. You look at customs as a revenue source, but reduce the taxes on products, and so the cost of living drops for everybody. Then you don't need. You will not agitate for more revenues. You have 2 options: either reduce cost of living or increase what you get paid. You have only 2 options.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but so now we increase cost of living and we refuse to increase your wages. So what you're going to have? You're going to have a nation with the most poor people on planet Earth, all in 3 years, and you have a recession. Then you have a devaluation. Then you have incompetence galore. So this is what we have.
Now, Senator, you have spoken about, governance and bad governance being one of the major issues that we have as Nigerians, and we are on the eve of another election. You've mentioned another candidate who is going to be running, and a lot of young people, because we talked to a lot of young people here, and we've all talked about the whole get your voters cards and go out there and vote, and your vote counts. But as someone who's also been very vocal about all the issues that we've been having in the last 4 years, how well do you really feel that our votes actually matter?
Well, you got two problems. First of all, if you're going out to vote and you're PDP, you have three opponents.
Yes, indeed.
The first opponent is APC. The second opponent is the police. The third opponent is INEC. Okay. So you're fighting APC, you're fighting the police, and you're fighting INEC. Let's take Oshun, for instance. Our crew went there. Okay. When they got there, I said, tell me what happened. They said the thugs were giving the police instructions what to do. Okay? Then we got another report. If you carried a white handkerchief, you're allowed to vote. If you did not carry a white handkerchief, you're beaten up or scared away. I spoke to the folks in the embassies. I spoke to the foreign observers. They were tear gassed. Two, you probably didn't know this, but the government shut down internet in Osun State.
So that's a security measure, or
no, to rig the election. So they shut down internet in Osun State, which means the guys in the embassies couldn't talk to each other. If you had to do all that to win an election in a state that cannot pay worker salary for 1 year, then you have a psychological problem.
Now, I like the fact that you brought up these worker salaries, because also at the beginning of the month of October, the NLC suspended their strike under a promise from the federal government to renegotiate, hold a meeting under the tripartite committee as well, to reach a lasting solution, or a lasting figure. From 56,000 naira, it was brought down to 30,000 naira. Now we're hearing it's 25,000 or 22,500. What is the problem in getting the governors to sit down and decide, look, this is how much I think Nigerians should earn, minimum wage?
Well, let's go back to the fundamentals. To solve this problem, they need to bring down the cost of living. Okay. It has to come down. Two, a lot of states cannot pay this money. And I'm in opposition, but I have to be honest. One thing about me, I tell it like it is. A lot of states cannot pay 18,000. So they need to get the cost of living down. Some states can pay 50,000. So they have a dilemma. Okay. So if I'm in opposition, why should I fight for the government? I should encourage labor to go on strike. But I'm a patriotic Nigerian. So we need to find a balance. We need to find a balance. So I don't think there should be a national minimum wage. Okay. I think there should be a minimum wage for each state.
For each state.
I agree with that. Yeah, for each state. Because some states, 15,000 is fine. Some states, they need 70,000.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so some states can pay more, some states can pay less, and some states are in trouble. And I think that is what we should look at. A national minimum wage in a poor country like Nigeria is counterproductive. It didn't work then, it's not going to work today, it's not going to work tomorrow.
Now, we have 24 APC states, we have 11 PDP states. What are the 11 PDP state governors doing about this? I mean, I want to ride on your boat now. How are they going to tackle this minimum wage issue?
Well, I tell you what, whatever decision they take, we'll honor it. I mean, we'll honor whatever decision they make with labor. We're going to honor it. I'm not the governor. I mean, you didn't vote for me to be governor. But just looking at it, I would say they honor whatever agreement they make, and they pay the salaries, backlog, and current salaries. Okay. I think they ought to and they should. The workers are important. Okay. And I will never support a system where you agree on a deal and we don't pay. We ought to pay, we should pay, and we should pay right away.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us for a limited time only Senator Ben Murray Bruce in the House. He's answering a few questions of things that's popped up in the month of October. Another big issue that popped up was the APC gubernatorial primaries, where the current Governor Akinwumi Ambode, made some allegations about the flag bearer for the gubernatorial race, Lagos, Sanwo-Olu, saying that he had spent fake dollars in the US, had been admitted at psychiatric ward, etc., etc. I wanted to get your opinion on his allegations concerning the flag bearer for the APC Lagos.
These are the internal affairs of APC.
Yes.
Right? So if they are on the cause of self-destruct, why should I interfere?
No, I mean, these are very serious allegations, and they're not the type that just
if he has allegations, he has to prove it. These are my views. Because we're all public figures, and People make allegations all the time. You make allegation against someone, prove it. Don't just make an allegation, prove it. And he himself, Shomolu himself, should defend himself. But those are internal affairs of APC. That they should go figure that out themselves.
Okay, that's still on the APC. I understand that the Buhari, Ambode, and Sanwo-Olu, they've all put together a force called the ICG, which is the Independent Campaign Group. It consists of a Buhari and Osibanjo Campaign Support Group, Ambode Mandate Support Group, a Babangida Olushola Campaign Organization as well, coming together to form a full force. I wanted to find out, what is the PDP doing as well in their own camp?
Listen to what I just said to you. We're not worried about defeating APC. That's the easy part.
Okay.
We're worried about the police and INEC. They are the ones that are giving us a nightmare. They can have any pact they want, they can come up with any program they want, they can work any campaign they want. You see, when you're in government, you run an election on your record. You cannot run your campaign on a dream or promise you're about to make. You got to run your campaign on 100 promises you made and didn't fulfill. You got to run your campaign on what you've done. If you're losing 3-4 million jobs a year, you got to address those issues. If you have inflation at double digits, you got to address those issues. If you have no foreign investment coming into Nigeria, you got to address those issues. If you have high unemployment, you have to address those issues. So if you ask them, are we the headquarters of extreme poverty in the world? Yes or no?
We are.
Right, okay, so we are. They let them address those issues. A campaign is about the issues that you created while you are in office. So why should I be concerned about 50 people coming from an alliance to distort historic facts? I'm not worried about that. Let them address the issues that they put upon us as a nation, and the poverty they put upon us as a nation, and the misery they put upon us as a nation. Not be able to defeat Boko Haram as a problem. Let them address those issues. I don't want to be sidetracked. Listen, if I was them running a campaign, I would not address those issues. I would address other issues. But a smart person would say, let's come back to why we're here. This is an election on your record. So you must only talk about your record, not a dream. Not a dream of what PDP did 2,000 years ago. That's totally irrelevant. Run your campaign on your record.
Now, speaking about campaign and records, you mentioned Boko Haram and insecurity.
Yeah.
This month alone, we've seen a great deal of military activity in the Middle Belt, talking about Jos. Retired Major General's body was found in a pond, as well as the Kaduna crisis. And then, of course, a few days ago, 3 Shiite members were killed by the military after they set up an illegal blockade. Could you tell us, from your point of view, what is really going on in these scenarios here?
Well, you know, in the Senate, one thing about running for public office, I encourage all you wealthy people to let your kids run for public office and don't criticize politicians. You need to be a part of it. When you're in the Senate, every single day, you discuss 20, 30, 40, 50 issues that affect your country, affect the world. Many times in the Senate, we talked about Zamfara, for instance, where the entire state has been taken over by Cowboys. Okay? Now, do you know that if you had a marital problem in Zamfara state, you go to the people who adjudicate the case at these Cowboys, not the government. Children going to school, marriage ceremonies. The entire state has been taken over by Cowboys. Do you understand what I'm saying? Taken over by Cowboys. I went to Benue myself to see the governor. And I rode in the deputy governor's car. And I asked him, I said, have you caught any of these herdsmen? They said yes. I said, so I asked him, I said, where did they get the weapons? He said they got the weapons from the government. Okay?
The same government.
The same government. They got it from, well, you can't say the government, but security agencies. They gave them the weapons. So you have a breakdown of law and order. You have a breakdown in the command structure. You have a breakdown in the man at the top giving an instruction and it not being followed. And let me tell you the biggest problem in Nigeria. When people start killing and dying, you have created an industry. There are some people, I believe in my heart, want this to continue, because when it continues, they get paid, they make a lot of money. People, think about it. In Nigeria, thank you, you've got it. So this is an industry, and we need to stop this industry. And there's no nice way to do it. You have to stop. President Buhari needs to stop this industry. This industry needs to be stopped. And the way Zamfara is going, nobody goes to Zamfara. Do you go there? No. Do anybody live? That's the point. But that's the point. It is a dangerous, dangerous place to live. It is a dangerous place to be. I went to Benue and I saw the governor, and I went and I spoke to them, and I spoke to the people on the streets. You cannot have herdsmen invading your community, killing you, maiming you, slitting your stomach, taking out unborn children. This is like what happened in Sierra Leone. Yes, so there's a total breakdown in law and order, and this must be addressed. There is no nice way to deal with it.
Let's talk about the issue of restructuring Nigeria.
Right.
Quite a number of people feel that, maybe it might not be a bad idea if, just going by exactly what you just pointed out, it might not be a bad idea if each, maybe
federalism.
Maybe true, yeah. Maybe that might be the way
becomes
to
truly
go.
Independent in its own.
Do you think that might work?
Let me give you a typical example. Why is there a crisis in Zamfara? Do you know one of the reasons why?
Sure,
gold mining. They're mining for gold.
Who is mining? Because we understand
the
that
Cowboys.
Minerals,
The Cowboys.
It's under
The Cowboys
of the federal government.
Right. So imagine if you want a license to mine gold or diamonds or aquamarine or sapphire, you have to go to Abuja to get a license.
Yes, indeed.
Not in Zamfara. Why? If you restructure, the state then controls the natural resources. You go to the guy there to get a license. The state police protects you because the state police is someone who lives with you, who knows you, who grew up with you. He protects you. So you get, and you don't need to go to the Senate to have state police. You have state police because and they protect you. You want a license, you get it. Take Lagos State for instance. Lagos State, they made they made a request to borrow $200 million, right? $200 million. Yet, the money from VAT is more than $200 million. Why are they borrowing $200 million when the money from VAT that they generate because you consume alcohol in Lagos is enough to raise the $200 million? So what sense does that make? All we've done is we've made states very, very lazy. States are lazy, but if Atiku Abubakar restructures, if he restructures and you control your resources, you create wealth within your community, and the wealth you create within your community, pay taxes, create jobs, provide education. All of a sudden, you are wealthier. Now, some state governors are incredibly lazy. They're incredibly lazy. Every month, they go to the federal government in Abuja to get a check. They're very lazy. Now, what is the criteria to be a state governor? School certificate? Think of the IQ level of some of these clowns. How could they? They can't even run a kiosk, and then they're governors, and then they sit down there. They all fall asleep, and every month they go get a check from the government. How can you run a state like that?
Now, I want to also bring something. If we're talking about restructuring, and restructuring is not in view, can't we talk about cooperation even amongst all political parties? I mean, we're seeing a situation where the Senate president wasn't even present at the Independence Day parade. He was absent. Now, I want to talk about his absence. That's definitely going to create some kind of talk in corridors. If there is no cooperation, at least, how can we even move forward?
How can you talk about cooperation when somebody wakes up one day and says the Senate president is involved in robbing a bank? How can you talk about cooperation when you go to Dino Melaye and you said he's involved in arms? You try to set people up.
But
you talk about cooperation.
Now, exactly. Now, why do these narratives keep popping up? Because according to
what did I just say to you? I said the problem is the police, the INEC, and APC. And APC is the easiest one to fight. APC is not a problem to defeat. They're easy. But how do you defeat the police and INEC?
So it obviously looks like the PDP has a serious battle ahead of them.
Very serious, definitely.
Is the PDP I beg your pardon, the police and INEC. So what exactly is the PDP going to do about this? If the APC looks like the lowest hanging fruit, but what do you do about the police and the INEC? If
you gotta do a movement. You see, on the floor in Port Harcourt when we tried to get Atiku Abubakar the nomination, I was on the floor. I must have walked 20 kilometers that day. Okay. Myself, Peter Obi, and Benga Daniels. Let me tell you something. When we got on the floor at the stadium, a lot of delegates who were given instructions by their governor to vote for certain candidates, they called me on the phone. They said, we are going to vote for Atiku Abubakar.
Okay.
Out of the blues. And I said, why? They said, Atiku Abubakar is the only guy who can defeat Buhari. So we don't care what the governor said. For this to work, this has to be a movement. And I'll tell you a story. When Hillary lost to Barack the first time, I asked my friend, I said, go and meet Bill Clinton and ask him why Hillary lost. Bill Clinton said she lost because she refused to use her people. I was not satisfied. I said, okay, go and ask Hillary, because they're not personal friends. But I said, go and ask Hillary why she lost. Hillary came back and said she lost to Barack because it was a movement. So the only way to defeat APC, it has to be a movement. And the way Atiku Abubakar won and got the nomination, it was a movement.
Okay.
And that is, I was on the floor, so I can write a book on how we got the nomination. It was a movement. It has nothing to do with anybody spending a penny. It was a movement. They defied their governors, and here we are. He's the nominee, and he will be president in 4 months.
Now, speaking about movement, you just brought me to a very interesting...
I shouldn't be the one making you ask me questions. You
No,
should be the one asking me questions.
I have a very... we were talking about movement. I was gonna go somewhere else. What is your opinion of another man who is making a serious movement? He goes by the name Nnamdi Kanu. What is your opinion of him? He recently surfaced in Israel. I am of the opinion it's to close up some sentimental talk that Igbos and Jews share some kind of lineage. That's what I'm thinking.
Forget all that. Let me tell you. Let me say what it is. The Igbos are the most successful Nigerians. The Igbos are some of the richest Nigerians. About 30 years ago, when they were changing money, when I don't know which president was changing money, 60% of all the naira changed in Nigeria came from Onitsha.
Okay.
The Igbos are wealthy. The Igbos are successful. The Igbos have a better life than most Nigerians. So when they say they're disadvantaged, I sometimes wonder. I said they are a lucky bunch. And if you think about it, the Civil War ended in 1970, January 12, 1970. And the government gave them, I think, £5 or £12, whatever they were given.
20 pounds.
Think of what they've achieved from that day till today. Think of the wealth they've accumulated. So when they say they are disadvantaged, I begin to wonder. I would say we are envious of them. We are envious of them, and they've done very well for themselves. Even some of them with no education. With no education, they have extreme wealth. And they've done very well for themselves. The men are good fathers to the children, good husbands. They're successful people. So when they say that, I don't know if it's political or not, but I think the Igbos have done very, very well. And because of that, I would not give too much credence to that. Kanu, it's a free country, and he shouldn't be arrested for expressing himself. But we are a united nation. We are one country, and I will not support anybody breaking up Nigeria.
Okay, well, we have just limited time left. And ladies and gentlemen, this one is from a diplomatic point of view. The recent murder of Jamal Khashoggi. How should Nigeria be reacting to this international incident?
Well, first of all, they got this young prince in Saudi, and then he launched a war in Yemen. Babies are being killed, and how do you pronounce it? Kashoogi? Kashoogi. So the rest of the world don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Kashoogi.
Kashoogi.
Yeah, right. I think this guy is a cowboy. He's guilty. And I think Nigeria should take a position against Saudi in line with Western nations. You don't go around killing people in your embassies, cutting them up and shutting them up. I don't care who he is, it's wrong. I believe in freedom, and I believe in free speech, and I believe in everybody being able to do what they want to do as long as it's within the law. And I think that the federal government should take a position and issue a statement against him and let him know that it's not going to be tolerated. You don't go around killing people. I don't care who you are. That's my view.
All right.
Well, thank you, the good Senator. This has been a very interactive session, and we'd love to do this again as many times as we can get you. I think that's
your buddies as well. We would also like to entertain the presidential flag bearer of the PDP.
I'll bring it. I'll ask him to come.
Tiku and Peter Obi. We would like to have both of them.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. I would not let you go without asking you your favorite song, because of course we do have to play a song for you. You've told me, but I want you to talk about that song.
No, it's let me tell you, it's Army Arrangement by Fela. Let me tell you the story behind it.
Okay.
You see, one day I was in my office, and a French journalist came to see me, and he said, Mr. Bruce, I need a favor. It was in 1984. Yeah, I said, what? He said, you know the song "We Are the World" done by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and all those guys. He said, yes. He said they're doing a song in the United Nations similar to that, and they wanted Fela to participate in the songs because we're raising money for Africa. I said, but Fela is in prison. He said, well, yeah, I know. Can you speak to the government to release him for a week, let him go to New York, do the song and come back? I said, you want me to get Fela out of prison for a week and come back? He said, yes. I said, okay. Then he said, by the way, there's a tape, there's a song he's done. I want you to help me release the song in Nigeria, and there's an article I want you to read. I went home. When I got home, I read the article. In the article, Fela predicted that the Buhari administration will be overthrown. Then the song he gave me was Army Arrangement. I listened to it. Don't forget, I was a kid at the time. When I listened to it, I said this Frenchman was totally out of his mind. I went back to my office in Commercial Avenue, Yaba, in those days. He came to see me the next day, and I said, listen, I don't think with this article where he predicted Buhari will be overthrown and a song like Army Arrangement should be released by me. Don't forget, we had no radio, TV at the time.
Yeah.
It was not going to work. So I gave it back to him. I said, no, this is not going to work. He left Commercial Avenue, went to Ajay Street. He was greeting 2 Lebanese people. The next thing I knew, NSO arrested him and the guys. The next time I saw him was when Babangida overthrew Buhari, and he was on the back page of Sunday Times. He had a wrapper around him. He had been in prison from that date till the day Babangida took over power. So yes, this song is very significant to me because I could have been arrested that day.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
You would have been a jailbird.
and then you give
Prison
so
on
much
your
stories.
record.
So much stories from that time, you know.
Yes.
So that would have been very interesting.
Yeah, I could have been in
tales
prison.
from prison would have been
Absolutely.
absolutely. Thank you so much for stopping
Thank
by.
you.
And
Thank you.
You know, it's nice to see Nigerians who are patriotic and who want the greater good of Nigeria.
Thank
and
you.
I feel like a lot of young people appreciate all. You know, you are quite vocal. I mean, sometimes you get into a little bit of trouble.
Can I slide one question in? Just one more.
Yeah, yes.
Let me throw this. On Monday, we braced the news of Oshibajo, Vice President, of course, the President, saying they're going to be learning the Shaku Shaku dance for their election campaign. You commented on that on Twitter. I was wondering if you could just reiterate those comments once again. What are your real thoughts on that?
No, I think you know we got to stay focused on this election and this campaign. Dancing and singing is just not a priority for me or to anybody right now.
Senator Adeleke, he used dancing to get was it how many votes according to Oshibajo?
And Dino Malari, he releases soundtracks all the time.
You know they can do that, but this is not something I would support. And we got to stay focused. Nigerians are suffering; they got no jobs and they're hungry. You know, I want to stay focused on that.
Okay, stay focused, Nigeria.
This is Army Arrangement dedicated to the good senator, and I can't wait to have you back. I will definitely do this more often, closer to election time as well, because a lot of people want to go out to vote, and they need to be motivated as well. People are tired of everything you've spoken about. We're with you on that page. Everyone's looking for a better situation, a better Nigeria, and we can only keep talking and keep exercising our voice and keep pushing for the change to come. So thank you for coming. I'm going to kick you out of the studio now because I can't do that.
Even if he owns the place,
I don't care. I can.